The respondent applied for appointment on the post of an assistant clerk in pursuance of an advertisement which was issued by the State Bank of India in August 2009. The respondent was appointed on 3 December 2010 and joined his service as an assistant clerk at Govindnagar branch of the bank in district Kanpur Nagar. He was deputed for training and on successful completion thereof he was placed on probation by an order dated 13 June 2011. The probationary period was extended by 3 months since the work of the respondent was not found to be satisfactory. These services of the respondent were terminated by an order dated 27 August 2011 of the regional manager by cancelling his appointment, treating it as void ab initio. The ground on which the order of appointment was cancelled was that at the written examination conducted by the bank on 8 November 2009. In pursuance of the recruitment process, it was not the respondent who had appeared, but according to the bank, someone else had appeared against the candidature of the respondent impersonating him. The bank treated this as suppression of a material fact that the respondent had not appeared at the written examination and had allowed someone else to appear. The appointment was treated as void ab initio, particularly placing reliance on clause 17 under bracket I of the general instructions, which stipulated that if it was detected at any stage of the recruitment that a candidate does not fulfill the eligibility norms and or that the candidate had furnished any incorrect or false information or suppressed any material fact, the candidature would stand cancelled, and if such shortcomings are detected even after appointment, the services are liable to be terminated. Similarly, reliance was placed on a condition of the letter of appointment under which suppression of material facts would lead to the appointment being regarded as void ab initio. The bank filed a counter affidavit in response to the petition filed by the respondent challenging the order of termination. The case in the counter affidavit was that a re-verification was done after the appointment was made when the bank had called upon the respondent to submit his photographs and also provide his signature. In the meantime, the office of the bank received the file from the zonal office which had conducted the examination, which contained the photographs of the person who had appeared at the written examination as well as in the interview along with the call letter. According to the bank, the photographs submitted by the respondent did not tally with those of the person who had appeared at the written examination, giving rise to an apprehension of impersonation. The branch manager of the bank, by a letter dated 29 April 2011, informed the controlling authority to have the matter investigated. Thereafter, the matter was referred to a handwriting forensic expert for verification of the thumb impression and the signatures on the call letter of the present incumbent who was actually working in the bank. On the strength of aforesaid judgments, it is canvassed by learned counsel that the signatures of documentary evidence placed on record could not be compared without seeking expert opinion, and Section 73 of the Evidence Act did not enable the trial court to record a finding on the basis of mere comparison of the signatures on the documents, originals whereof were not produced before the court below. This, according to learned counsel for respondent number 1, is a material irregularities which the trial court has committed while allowing the application. Learned counsel for respondent number 1 has also argued that despite there being an application filed by the respondent number 1 to call for oral evidence, the trial court proceeded in a hasty manner and decided the application on the same date. When the application for transfer was rejected by the learned district judge, rendering a detailed judgment on the same very day, according to learned counsel, shows that the trial court had predetermined the issue, which clearly amounts to a material irregularity in the process of adjudication. Para. Now coming to the scope of writ petition under Article 226 of the Constitution of India, as directed against the order passed by the Revisional Court. I am of the considered opinion that the Revisional Court ought not to have interfered with the matter on the mere ground that the trial court did not undertake an exercise of recording oral evidence or did not enter into an critical analysis of the documentary evidence. The proceedings in respect of application under Order 22 Rule 10 CPC are summary in nature, and the trial court, while adjudicating upon the same, has clearly recorded that no other person except respondent number 1 has raised any dispute before the trial court, and that finding of the trial court has not been found faulty on the strength of any material whatsoever by the Revisional Court. Therefore, the Revisional Court, while passing the impugned order, has clearly exceeded the jurisdiction conferred under Section 115 of the Code of Civil Procedure. The other grounds raised by learned counsel for respondent number 1 before the Revisional Court to the effect that the trial court proceeded in a hasty manner and did not dispose of the application for allowing evidences to be laid is also devoid of merit, inasmuch as no such evidence was actually laid before the trial court or is required to be examined after recording of oral evidence, etc. This court is of the opinion that the trial court order allowing the application of Ramakant Kaushik, not being a conclusive judgment as to the rights of parties, would not preclude respondent number 1 to participate in suit proceedings. Once such a right is declared or based on the requirements under Section 25 of the Societies Registration Act 1860 is laid as per the procedure prescribed under law. The trial court, while adjudicating upon the issue, of rival succession oblique devolution in interest being bound to frame an inclusive issue is at liberty to transpose any of the contesting parties to be the plaintiff. Over.